They laughed when the judge said, "Coffee girl." I remember thinking, how strange it is that a single sentence can make your chest feel like it's collapsing in on itself. My name is Eleanor Hayes. I didn't feel strong that morning. I just felt awake in a way I didn't want to be. Like my body knew something bad was about to happen before my mind admitted it. Outside the courthouse in Portland, I kept adjusting the grip on a paper cup I wasn't even drinking from. Coffee had gone cold. I didn't throw it away. I don't know why. I just needed something in my hand so I didn't feel completely exposed. People walked past me like I wasn't important enough to notice. Maybe I wasn't. Inside, my father was already there. That part always surprises me in memory. How calm he looked. Like nothing in his life was at risk. Like I was the inconvenience, not the reason we were both sitting there. He didn't look at me when I walked in, not even a glance. That should have prepared me for everything else. The estate came from my grandfather, Walter Hayes. $11 million, give or take. Not sudden money, not flashy money, just years of discipline turned into numbers on paper. Most of it was left to me. I still remember reading the will and not reacting right away. I think I just sat there too long, like my brain refused to accept it as real. My father said it was wrong, said I influenced him, said I inserted myself where I didn't belong. But the truth is simple. I was there, that's all. I was there when he forgot names. I was there when he got frustrated with his own reflection. I was there when silence filled the house so loudly, it felt like it had weight. My father wasn't, not really. Maybe twice in 6 months, maybe less. I stopped counting after a while because it hurt more every time. Court started and everything inside me tightened in a way I couldn't control. My father's attorney stood first. Confident voice, clean suit, the kind of person who never sounds uncertain even when they are. He said I couldn't manage the estate. He didn't say it angrily, that's what made it worse. Just like a fact. Then came the photos. Me at the diner, me wiping tables, me pouring coffee, me looking tired in a way I didn't realize was visible until that moment. A few people in the courtroom reacted, small laughs, not loud, just enough. That kind of laughter stays with you longer than insults. My father didn't react at all. That silence from him felt familiar in the worst way. The judge looked at me and asked if I worked there. Yes, I said. My voice sounded smaller than I expected. How long? Not long, I answered, then corrected myself because even that felt misleading. A few weeks. The attorney spoke again about judgment, responsibility, capability. Those words started to blur together. Judgment, capability, responsibility. As if they were things you either had or didn't, like height or eye color. I remember looking down at my hands and thinking, if they knew everything, would they still be saying this? And then I wasn't in that courtroom anymore. I was back in my grandfather's house, standing in a hallway holding a bag of clothes too heavy for a child to understand. My father had said, "It's temporary." But children don't understand temporary the same way adults lie about it. Temporary became years. My grandfather raised me after that, not in a warm, comforting way people imagine when they hear that sentence. He was strict, sometimes frustratingly so. He didn't explain feelings. He explained systems, consequences, structure. When I cried once after school, he didn't hug me. He asked what happened. Then he asked what I was going to do about it. At the time, I thought that meant he didn't care. Later, I realized it meant he didn't believe the world would adjust itself for me. Back in court, I heard the words temporary oversight, and something in me shifted. Not anger, something closer to exhaustion. like I was tired of being misread. I stood up before I fully decided to. I asked to respond. My voice felt strange coming out of me in that room. The judge allowed it. I said I worked at the diner. I didn't deny anything. That part surprised people, I think. They expected defense, or emotion, or panic. Instead, I just told the truth. But not all of it yet. I said it was temporary work during a transition period. That's when things changed slightly, because truth, when incomplete, sounds suspicious even when it isn't. I handed over documents. The room got quieter in a different way. Not shocked quiet, focused quiet. I saw the judge's expression change first. Not dramatically, just slowly. Like a door unlocking in stages. Military records, Air Force intelligence, security clearance history, training in financial oversight systems tied to federal contracts. The attorney tried to speak again, but stopped halfway through his sentence. My father finally looked at me then. That moment hurt in a way I can't fully explain, because it wasn't pride I saw. It was confusion. Like I had become someone he didn't prepare himself to understand. The courtroom stopped feeling like a stage after that. It felt smaller, more human. When I mentioned I worked the diner because I didn't know what else to do after my grandfather died, my voice broke slightly. I didn't plan it. It just happened. And I hated that it did, because I didn't want that room to see me as fragile. But they did, just for a second. And somehow that second mattered more than everything else. The judge eventually said there was no basis to remove me from control of the estate. I didn't feel victorious when I heard it. I just felt still, like my body didn't know what to do with the ending. My father didn't speak to me as I passed him, but just before I reached the exit, he said quietly that I made him look bad. I stopped. I almost answered the way I used to, careful, apologetic, controlled. But I didn't. I thought of my grandfather instead, and I left. And what stayed with me wasn't the money. It was the strange realization that being seen clearly by strangers didn't matter as much as not being seen at all by the person who raised you.